The alien arrived early in the human classroom, its long limbs moving with an awkward grace, its skin shimmering slightly under the fluorescent lights, and it carried a strange glowing device in its hands. The humans had gathered quietly at their desks, their curiosity buzzing like a swarm of invisible bees. They had heard stories about this new teacher, but none of them had seen one before. Its eyes were large and reflective like dark mirrors, and they seemed to study everything at once. The alien placed the device carefully on the desk at the front of the room and waved its hand. A soft hum filled the air, shapes and colors twisted around the device, forming a puzzle that seemed impossible to decipher. The alien stepped back and tilted its head slightly as if expecting resistance. The humans exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of confusion, amusement, and intrigue. Some of them leaned forward, their fingers tapping lightly on the desks, as if trying to summon understanding. The alien spoke in a voice that was surprisingly melodic yet carried authority. "Every symbol here represents a challenge. You must solve it correctly to prove your intelligence." The students looked at each other. Some whispered under their breath. Others just stared at the glowing shapes that floated and rotated in midair. The alien moved closer, watching them carefully, expecting hesitation or panic, but instead it saw something different, a sparkle of recognition in one girl's eyes. She raised her hand timidly, and the alien nodded at her. To proceed, she reached toward the puzzle and tapped one of the shapes, and instantly it shifted, clicking into place. The alien blinked. A moment of silence passed, then another student followed, tapping and twisting the shapes with fluid motions. Soon half the room was interacting with the puzzle, and every movement seemed familiar. Each shape clicked and rotated as if the students had done this before, and the alien felt a surge of something it had never experienced before, a mixture of surprise and confusion. It stepped closer to the device, watching them. The humans moved with confidence, solving piece after piece, and it realized slowly, and then fully, that this was no ordinary puzzle. This was a human game, one that they played often and loved dearly. The alien's jaw dropped slightly. It had expected struggle and maybe failure. Instead, it saw joy, laughter, and the thrill of recognition spreading across human faces, and a warm feeling, unlike any it had known before, began to settle inside it. The alien stepped back, its long fingers brushing lightly over the glowing surface of the puzzle, its eyes scanning the students as they laughed and whispered, sharing little hints with each other. He tried to comprehend the strange thrill that danced in the humans' movements and voices. Each click and rotation of the shapes seemed effortless to them, and the alien felt a flicker of something unfamiliar in its chest. Pride, curiosity, and maybe even embarrassment. It had designed the puzzle to be impossible to test them, yet here they were completing it with joy and ease. One boy leaned back in his chair, grinning broadly, and tapped the final shape into place. The puzzle glowed brighter for a moment and then dissolved into a shower of sparkling lights that rained down over the students. The alien froze, expecting confusion or disappointment, but the humans simply cheered and clapped for each other, their laughter ringing clear and warm through the classroom. The alien tried to imitate their expressions and felt awkward. Muscles tightened in ways it did not fully understand. It turned to the device and studied the symbols, one by one, trying to trace the logic that made it simple for them, and it realized slowly that the puzzle was not impossible at all. It was familiar to them in ways it could not have predicted. The humans had practiced these shapes in games, in competitions, in casual challenges with friends and family. Every gesture they made flowed naturally from memory and instinct. The alien took a deep breath, its mind spinning with the revelation, and a new feeling began to bloom in it. Admiration for the humans, and a strange happiness that they had shared this simple joy with it. Despite their victory, it did not feel envy or frustration, only wonder and a desire to understand their playful cleverness better. The alien straightened its long body and smiled, perhaps differently from any human smile, but genuine and warm, and the classroom felt lighter, brighter, and somehow more alive than it had moments before. The alien leaned closer to the empty desk where the puzzle had just vanished, its long fingers hovering over the glowing air, as if it could summon the shapes back with thought alone. The students giggled and waved at it, inviting it to try, and for a moment, the alien hesitated, unsure if it could join in this strange human celebration. Finally, it reached out one slender finger and tapped at the faint shimmer of shapes that still lingered in its mind, and to its surprise, a shape appeared, twisting slowly and fitting perfectly into place. The humans clapped and cheered louder, this time their voices wrapping around the alien. Like warmth, it tried again, another piece, clicking in easily, and a thrill it had never known pulsed through it. The alien laughed, a sound soft and musical like wind over glass, and the students echoed it, imitating it playfully, and the alien felt connection for the first time with creatures so different yet so delightfully familiar. It was not about winning or proving intelligence anymore. It was about joy and discovery together. Every movement, every choice the humans made seemed to invite the alien into their world. The alien began to twist the shapes faster, more confidently, learning from their gestures, copying their instincts and slowly creating something new of its own. Each solution sparked laughter, each success shared freely across the room, and the alien realized that this was the true puzzle the humans solved every day, not the shapes, not the device, but the joy in each other's company. The cleverness, the patience, the playful delight, and for the first time it felt it belonged in this small human moment. It looked around at the faces glowing with excitement and pride and thought, maybe impossible puzzles were not meant to trap intelligence, but to reveal happiness, to share connection, and to invite even aliens to play. The alien sat cross-legged on the floor, its long limbs folding in ways that seemed almost impossible to human eyes, yet it felt surprisingly comfortable. The students gathered around it like a circle of friends, sharing secrets, and each of them reached toward the faint traces of the puzzle shapes still hovering in the air, and together they began to move the pieces in new patterns, combinations no human had tried before. The alien watched their expressions, wide eyes sparkling and mouths curved in joy, learning quickly from their subtle cues. It felt a strange pride, not in mastering the puzzle but in being part of the play, in this small dance of cleverness and laughter. One girl whispered an idea, pointing to a shape, and the alien nodded, understanding immediately, and twisted the pieces exactly as she suggested. The shapes clicked together perfectly, and the humans erupted into delighted cheers. The alien tilted its head, considering their reactions, and then tried something unexpected. It combined two patterns that had never been linked before. The shapes shivered and pulsed with glowing light, and for a moment it feared failure, but the students did not scold or frown. They clapped encouragingly and laughed, urging it to continue. The alien felt warmth spreading through its chest, a feeling like sunlight on water, a sense of belonging it had never known before. It realized then that the puzzle was never about impossibility or cleverness alone. It was about shared discovery, about joy, about trust, and about the playful spirit that connected beings, no matter how different they were. And as the room hummed with laughter and lights, the alien knew it had found something more valuable than solving any puzzle. It had found friendship and the simple magic of play. The alien stood slowly, its long shadow stretching across the classroom. The students watched it with bright, expectant eyes, waiting for what it would do next. It reached out and touched one of the floating shapes, letting it hover between its fingers, and felt a strange sense of peace it had never experienced before. The puzzle had been impossible in its mind, a test, a challenge, a measure of intelligence, but the humans had shown it something entirely different: joy and curiosity, and the beauty of sharing in each other's cleverness. The alien looked around at their laughing faces, at the way their hands moved instinctively, at the warmth in their eyes, and it realized that it had learned more from them than any puzzle could ever teach. It had learned about connection, about patience, about delight, about play, and for the first time, it felt a deep belonging. It raised its hands, and the students cheered, joining together in a final playful movement, as if the room itself had become alive with energy. The alien laughed, soft and musical, a sound of wonder and contentment, and it knew that this moment would remain in it forever. A memory of humans and puzzles and laughter, and the surprising magic of discovering that what seemed impossible was already beloved and known. The alien lingered in the classroom long after the final shape had dissolved into sparkling fragments of light. It moved slowly among the human students, observing them closely, the way they leaned toward each other, sharing tiny jokes, their hands gesturing in ways that seemed effortless, yet carried unspoken meaning. It realized that the puzzle had been a doorway not just to amusement, but to understanding the humans themselves, their patience, their curiosity, their joy in simple things, and it felt a strange hunger to learn more, to be part of their world, to see through their eyes and experience the rhythm of their lives, one boy approached, shyly holding a small device. The alien tilted its head in curiosity. The boy grinned and gestured at it, inviting the alien to try something new. The alien hesitated, then reached forward and pressed a button. The device sprang to life, projecting a moving puzzle of light and shadow. The humans gasped and laughed as the alien navigated the patterns, twisting and aligning them with surprising skill. Each success drew cheers and laughter, and the alien felt exhilaration. It had never imagined a human girl, leaned close, whispering tips, and the alien adjusted instantly following her guidance. The room became a symphony of movement and sound, of shapes shifting and laughter rising, and the alien felt its mind expanding. Every gesture, every click, every shared glance, teaching it something new about cooperation, creativity, and delight. It began to see that games were not just tests or entertainment, they were bridges. They were ways to communicate emotion, to share joy, to connect beings across worlds, and it realized the greatest puzzle of all was not in the shapes or patterns but in understanding and joining with each other fully without fear or hesitation. The alien laughed again, a rich musical sound that seemed to fill the room with warmth and energy. The humans echoed it, mimicking and exaggerating it playfully, and the alien felt something swell inside it, a sense of belonging, pride, and wonder. All at once, the alien understood then that it had discovered a treasure far greater than any challenge it had ever designed, a treasure of friendship, of shared play, of connection, and it vowed, silently, to never forget the lesson of the humans and their beloved game. The alien's long shadow flickered across the walls of the classroom as the sun outside began to dip, and the alien felt a quiet contentment, knowing that it had crossed a threshold, not just into their classroom but into their hearts. The alien stood at the front of the classroom watching the humans gather their things. Some of them waved goodbye, some lingered to ask questions or offer tips on puzzles. The alien felt a strange warmth in its chest, a feeling it had not known before, a sense of home. Despite being so far from its own world, it slowly bent down to pick up the glowing device and realized that it no longer saw it as a tool for testing or proving intelligence. It was a bridge, a medium for laughter, for learning, and for connection. The students noticed and smiled, their eyes bright with excitement and pride. One boy whispered that they would show the alien more games next time, and the alien felt a thrill of anticipation. It nodded slowly, understanding that this was the beginning of a new kind of learning, one not bound by rules or difficulty but by curiosity and shared joy. It lifted its hands, and the humans clapped once more, their applause ringing through the room, and for the first time the alien laughed freely, without caution, without expectation, letting the sound fill every corner of the classroom. And outside the window the sun dipped lower, casting long warm shadows across the floor. The alien looked at the humans and thought that perhaps impossible puzzles were never meant to be conquered alone but to be discovered together, to be played and enjoyed and shared across differences and worlds. It stepped closer to the group, its long fingers brushing lightly against theirs in a silent gesture of camaraderie and trust, and it knew that from this day forward, no puzzle would ever feel impossible, because it had learned the secret humans had known all along, that the joy was not in solving but in playing and laughing and connecting. And the alien smiled, a genuine wide smile, feeling fully present, fully alive, and deeply grateful for the lesson the humans had shared and the day that had turned an impossible puzzle into a beloved game. The alien lingered in the now quiet classroom, its long limbs folding carefully as it observed the humans gathering their backpacks, their notebooks, their devices. It marveled at the way they moved with ease, so natural, so fluid, each gesture telling a story, each glance a tiny spark of connection. It realized that the puzzle had been only the beginning, a doorway into something larger, something far more profound than it had imagined. The laughter, the shared tips, the playful teasing, had revealed a truth that no calculation, no complex design could have conveyed. The alien felt a warmth spreading through its chest, a feeling like sunlight over still water, and it understood that learning could be joyful, that discovery could be playful, and that connection could be built without words, but through gestures, shared understanding, and laughter. It rose slowly to its full height, towering over the students, yet feeling smaller somehow in the face of their effortless humanity. They approached it hesitantly, offering questions about puzzles and games, and it answered with gestures, with demonstrations, with laughter, and the humans echoed each sound, giggling, mimicking, exaggerating, and the alien felt itself becoming part of their rhythm, its mind opening to the possibilities of play, of shared creativity, of friendship across worlds. It realized that the classroom itself had transformed. It was no longer merely a space for lessons, it was a playground for minds, a laboratory for connection, a place where beings from different worlds could meet and learn from each other. Freely, the alien touched one of the glowing devices again and felt joy pulsing through it. A pure, simple joy, a thrill of discovery, not of solving, but of sharing, and it smiled widely, a smile that was genuine, warm, and full of wonder, knowing that the humans had not only solved the puzzle, but had taught it something far more important than it could have imagined. The alien stood in the center of the classroom, its eyes sweeping over the humans, who now moved with relaxed ease, their laughter still lingering in the air. It felt a deep sense of fulfillment that it had never known. Before, the puzzle had been meant as a challenge, a test of intelligence, yet the humans had shown it a different kind of mastery, one of joy, connection, and playful creativity. It reached out slowly and touched one of the faint, shimmering shapes still floating in the air, and felt a thrill of understanding ripple through its long body. The students gathered closer, curious, eager, and the alien demonstrated new ways to move the shapes, combining patterns in ways it had never considered before. The humans watched intently, and then joined in each gesture, sparking more laughter, more delight, and a rhythm built between them, a silent conversation of motion and intuition. The alien realized fully that this was the true lesson. The puzzle was never about difficulty or superiority. It was about discovery and sharing, about bridging differences and creating moments of joy together. It bent slightly to meet the eyes of a girl, who had smiled at it most warmly and mimicked her movements, and she laughed, clapping her hands in excitement, and the alien felt a warmth bloom in its chest, a feeling like home, a sense of belonging it had never experienced before. The classroom glowed softly with the fading light from the windows, and the alien understood that it had been transformed by the humans and their beloved game. It was no longer merely a teacher or observer, it was a participant, a friend, a learner in the most profound sense. It looked around at the faces lit with happiness and thought that perhaps the greatest puzzles were never solved alone, that the real reward was always in connection, laughter, and shared discovery. And it smiled a wide, genuine smile, feeling fully present, fully alive, and eternally grateful for the lesson that the humans had so freely shared with it.